Sarah, and welcome to the premiere episode of Red House Travels. This is not going to be your traditional travel channel. As a travel agent, I love to explore, but I also value exploring my own backyard, and that's exactly what I'm going to do with this channel. I'm going to take you along with me as I explore my own neck of the woods. We're going to start in my hometown, Lenore, Idaho. Lenore is about 32 miles from Lewiston. It sits on the Nez Perce Indian Reservation in Nez Perce County. If you've been following along on our other channel, Rock Patch Adventures, you know that Charlie and I are both native Idahoans. In fact, I'm a third-generation Idahoan, and my husband is a fourth-generation Idahoan. And I brought us out here first to Sunnyside Cemetery. Lenore is situated in between Lewiston and Orfino on the Clearwater River if you're traveling down Highway 12. And Sunnyside is kind of considered the end of where Lenore starts and begins. And one of the reasons why I've brought you out here to Sunnyside is to introduce you to my ancestors. I started my tour out here because this is where it all begins for me. As far as being a native Idahoan, this is my great-grandparents Molly and Ben Murray. Man, that whole ridge is being developed. One of the reasons behind making this channel is we have so many people moving into our area from all over the country, which is wonderful. But lots of times when you visit with people new to our area and you share things to do and places to go and, oh, I didn't know about that. You get that a lot. I didn't know about that. Or where's that at? And so that is one of the reasons why I wanted to start this channel. As a travel agent, being able to share some of the hidden secrets, some of the hidden gems, and the not so hidden, with our community, with our region, whether you're passing through or moving here or retiring here. Then as an educator, a retired educator, wanting to be able to educate and inform. So I'm hoping that by doing this channel, you're going to have a little bit of history, if you're into that. You're going to have some infotainment, hopefully, and just to share some of the jewels, the hidden gems of my backyard. I hope to do a little bit of some of our fun little downtowns, our history, including the logging, the mining, the Nez Perce, Lewis and Clark. We have so many outdoor adventure opportunities around here, from the jet boating to we're world-renowned steelhead fishing. These guys are pastured next to this cemetery. My bus driver growing up lived right over there. She used to forget my bus stop quite often. The neighbor boys would have to, I'd yell, "Stop!" And the neighbor boys would walk me back down to my driveway, even though it wasn't very far. But these guys are being pastured next door to the cemetery. I love this ram here with his horns. When I was little, it was a big deal for my grandmother and my great aunt to do the cemeteries on Memorial Day. It was a tradition that I have passed on to my children. We do the cemeteries every Memorial Day. And so coming up here was always kind of a treat. We had to watch for snakes. We'd bring all the tools to clean off the gravestones. Come up and do some work in the next next year or two, the moss is getting pretty bad on my great-grandmother. This is my great-grandmother, Molly Murray. And this is my great-grandfather, Ben Murray. 1877 to 1921. He died when my grandmother was only 3 years old. My great-aunt, who was pivotal in the raising of my brother and myself. She never had any children of her own, but she was instrumental. This is her little baby brother and her first husband. So, Sunnyside Cemetery, you will find the founding fathers of Lenore, the ancestors of Lenore, my ancestors. Hopefully not any snakes. I don't think we'll find any snakes on this trip. It is getting colder. Here's a old one, 1908, a little baby. A lot of our neighbors growing up are up here. Some of my friends who have lost their parents already growing up are up here. I love seeing those there. Nope, my grandma, my Aunt Mabel. Fairview Cemetery. I can't remember the name of it. While I'm on the cemetery kick, I did remember it being a steep climb. Mom and I hiked up here one spring, and if my memory serves me correctly, that spring it was surrounded by daffodils. Somebody had taken the time to plant daffodils around the whole perimeter. Of course, it's October, so I'll have to come back in the spring and see if it still has the daffodils. But the reason I wanted to come up here was when the influenza came through this area in about 1919, the year my grandmother was born. There are a whole bunch of stones up here from that time period. Let's see, there's the gate. This is a true pioneer homesteaders cemetery. When my mom and I were up here years ago, the only thing we could surmise, this is like when I was 10, 12, so my memory is very foggy about it. The only thing we could surmise was that a flue, because it's mostly children, that a flue must have came through here 2 summers ago. And I don't know if you can see over there, the blackened timber. Where's my finger? The blackened timber all over there. The moles looks like the moles are taking over this. Cockleburrs on me. $1915, 4 years old. This one over here, I don't think I can even really read. Oh, 1914. 1-year-old. That one's just a simple marker. (1896 to 1909). This is the same family, I bet. Larkey. Yep. 1901 to 1909. So they lost, this family lost both their children in 1909. September 14th and September 5th. This is a big one. What, Mary E., wife of A.P. Hollingsworth, 1909. This one doesn't even have, not even a stone there, but somebody's been bringing stuff. These old cemeteries, you know, they're such a part of our history, whether it was a disease that came through, whether our founding father or, you know, our ancestors. 1905, not even a month old. But we learn a lot about our own history and our community's history from these old cemeteries. Especially the pioneer cemeteries. Some of these have got new stones on them. I don't know if they're new stones that have been... Oh, this is the Gills. They were the parents, I believe, of a childhood friend, classmate. To come up here in the spring, now that I almost didn't remember where it was. Like I said, I was very young when my mom and I came up here. And in the springtime, this whole fence line, if I remember correctly, all around the whole perimeter of this cemetery had daffodils in bloom. I'll have to come up in the springtime and see if my memory was correct, if there are daffodils. A little bit hazy today. But to have the view from here at this eternal resting place is quite magnificent. You can even see a little glimpse of the river up here. Pretty majestic. Well, this is another part of my hometown. When you come exploring, make sure you close the gates behind you. You never know who you might be letting in or out. And watch for snakes, especially up here. Growing up, going from our home, which will be the next stop on our tour. Growing up, going from our house to Sunnyside on those Memorial Day weekends I was telling you about. My brother and I would ride on the tailgate. Now, this talks about safety in the mid 70s, early 80s, because my brother was born in 79. Riding in the back of my Aunt Mabel's old Ford pickup, sitting on the tailgate, dangling our legs, going along the gravel road. We were the rattlesnake counters, counting how many rattlesnakes we ran over going to the cemetery. And even this, I mean, it is October, but it is a warm October day. So a day like this, they could still be out and even be a little bit more dangerous because they're kind of loopy. I found that cemetery. I've been wanting to come back to it for quite some time over the years to see if I remember, my memory was correct. But somehow their little cockleburs are just all over my shorts, and I don't even know where I got into them. They're just all over me. Goodness, I don't want to get them in my car. I'm trying to get them all off. All right, next stop, the home site. Next stop, the home site where I grew up. The house isn't there anymore, but I can give you the general idea. We used to watch from the front room window for the bus to come around on this very corner that I'm standing on. When the bus would come, when my mother would see the bus, she would send me out the driveway. But right down there, yeah, the house was red. It was over 100 years old. The neighbor boy tore it down to put the double wide in there. My mother would have to take the frogs out of the bathtub every time before we took baths. Used to ride my horse all over that pasture. Lenore was originally established as a tram for the farmers to get their grain from the Camas Prairie down here to the railroad. They would put the grain on the tram from up at the top. We're going to go up that road. Up at the top, take it across the river, and then put it onto the rail cars, which I just crossed the railroad tracks before we got onto the bridge. And this is Highway 12. If you've came from Montana, this is Highway 12, which goes right past Lenore. This building was the store. So where the flagpole is here, where the benches are, that's where the gas pumps were. My dad would give me just enough money. Once I started driving, my dad would give me just enough money to put a couple of gallons in my old Ford Fairlane to get me to Lapway. But this place had the folks that owned it, of course, they're passed away now. They had the best hamburgers. You'd walk in those doors and the smell of the Lenore store burger would just, and you'd smell it when you got home. You'd smell it on your clothes. I've got some pictures up there on the wall. I'm gonna go. Now it's a community center. They do have church services in here, and funerals and community dinners and whatnot. But there's the Lenore store. The gas pumps, as you can see, were right here. They were still here when I was a kid. And the best burgers, like I said, the best hamburgers. Here's a picture of the tram going across over to the grain terminal. The grain terminal now is privately owned by one of the local farmers. This is this side of the river. Kind of a glare on there. Ugh. This is this side of the river where I'm standing. It's just kind of crazy seeing your childhood and how things have changed. Next stop, we're going to go up this side of Lenore to the top of the Camas Prairie Canyon, where the tram would bring the grain down. One last look at the bridge and the post office. The school was located over there, and that is now a lodge where you can rent out, I think, a VRBO. Well, I hope you enjoyed the inaugural episode of Red House Travels. Made it back home. I hope you enjoyed touring around my hometown with me. It's always interesting to see something you are so familiar with in kind of that tourist light. So I hope you can get out and explore, whether it's near or far, whether it's your own backyard. I hope you find something new to explore, kind of like I did the Fairview Cemetery, and be a backyard tourist. Next week we're going to visit my husband's hometown, Lapwai, and kind of walk down memory lane. Might have my sister-in-law tag along. We'll see how if that works out for her. And until next time, don't forget to get out and explore. Sometimes you take them round the block and disappear for hours. I just swept that floor and dreamed of having superpowers back in my town. Back in my town. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.